Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I know you're probably looking and thinking, oh, where in the world is Patricia? I am currently in the amazing city of Istanbul. I'll probably be home now, but I've been on an amazing press trip with Harrods. Well, I'll tell you guys all about it, or check out my Snapchat, or be on my blog. But I know that I've been wanting to do this video for a really long time, and it's about my college and university story, and kind of at the start of my career story, and some of the learnings that I've had along the way. And I feel like this story has been really important for me to tell because so many people ask me about it, and so many of you guys are a bit younger, or you're in university, or you're planning to go to university. And sorry, I'm going to use university and college interchangeably because half of my viewers are from the US, just to mess that up. But you know, I'm British, so I'm not meant to say that. Sorry when I say college, people. Anyway, so I wanted to share this story just to give you guys, you know, just my experience, what I did, and I will hopefully progress to share with you my career story as well. So I worked in industry, but I'll get to that. And then hopefully I should be interviewing some amazing people to share with you their story and their journeys as well. So guys, get comfortable. You might need a notepad. I haven't written notes or anything beforehand, so I'm just kind of thinking off the top of my head, and I'm actually waiting for room service. I'm hoping they don't come like in the middle of this filming. Number one, so prior to going to university, I actually studied biology, chemistry, psychology, and business studies. So I was a science girl before I had gone to university, and I loved the sciences. I absolutely loved science, but I found chemistry quite hard, and so I ended up dropping that. But I felt like university was a time for me to you know, do whatever I wanted to do, and so I decided to pick international fashion marketing to be my course because I was like, I love fashion. And so without much thinking, without much planning, to be honest, I didn't have that much insight prior to going to university. All I knew is that I could be successful in whatever I wanted to do, and I've always believed that. And I thought that, okay, if I do a fashion course, it means that I get to break away from these boring courses that I didn't want to see. I couldn't see myself as a career doing. I couldn't see myself in a lab. I couldn't see myself as a lawyer, but I had a passion for fashion. That sounds really cool, corny. So I went to university and, you know, got on the course, which I actually hated. I hated my first year of university. I was very, very depressed. I cried so much. My mum and my sister came to stay with me for the first 2 weeks because I just didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be alone. And I didn't know anyone in the city I went to besides one guy who I wasn't that tight with in college, but he really did take me under his wing, and we became really good friends at university. But I didn't enjoy my course. I barely went to lectures, because it was actually more of a businessy, fashiony course, and I thought it was going to be more of a fashiony course. To be honest, I didn't even have any expectations, which is probably my lack of research. So I would always suggest, do your research and what is your expectation. And then the more I was in the course, the more I found out what people earned, or what was the long-term trajectory for people who had done a fashion course. And like that, you know, it was, you know, an assistant, or you worked at Adidas, or you worked at all these different places, and it was like £15,000 a year. And the one thing I knew is I didn't want to be broke. And I knew that I didn't want to be that starving girl, you know, I didn't want that. I wanted to have money, I wanted to have a steady job, and I wanted to earn. So on my course we had an accounting module, and for some reason I was excellent at accounting, but I got very good grades in that module. That was my on my fashion course, that was my best module, was the accounting and finance module. So then I was like, accountants make money. Could I be an accountant? Could I work at different companies and be an accountant for a fashion company? Yes, I could. So then I decided I'm changing my course because I couldn't see the long-term financial potential of working in fashion. And I realized I didn't even enjoy it that much. I thought I liked clothes. I don't actually care that much about fashion. Like, I went to museums and stuff about the history of fashion. I was like, yawn, whatever. Like, I'm a money and I'm a numbers person. And so I did the accounting course. So then I moved on to do my accounting course. Lo and behold, who didn't like the course and who didn't want to be an accountant? Patricia. And so I realized that the problem was probably maybe me. Why I didn't like my course was maybe my attitude towards it and the way I perceived the future. But I stayed on the course and I did very well. I got a 2-1 and I graduated. Again, the key things that I found was that loneliness was a really big issue for me on my course. I didn't talk to people on my course, and that really hindered me when it came to exam time or having to have those conversations and needing help. I had no one to talk to, especially in the first 2 years. And I remember the first guy who spoke to me was a guy who tapped on my shoulder when I fell asleep in a lecture, and then he became my friend. But then in my last year I made really good friends like Adila and Jeremy. They became my really good friends, and like they became my study group. But I found that the accounting course was something that I wanted to do because I thought that I'd make longer term earnings. It was much more of a professional job and my parents would be happier. As an African child, you're either an accountant, a lawyer, a doctor, a pharmacist or something like that, some really boring generic job so that they can tell their friends and family. And I'm sure this is in other cultures. And you know, when I did international fashion marketing, my family dropped fashion. They're like, marketing, she was in marketing. When I was like accounting, they're like, oh, she's like accountant. Like they loved that. For me, I feel like the accounting course was a good course and I feel like I learned a lot, but I feel like nothing prepares you like when you just actually start working. But regarding my social life in university, actually it was really good. So I was the president of the Afro-Caribbean Society for 1 or so years. I had a really good social group. I had a group of girls who, in the first year, I had like a really big social group. Girls who looked after me. Like I hated living in my halls of residence. I hated living alone. And there were 2 girls who basically let me squat in their rooms for the whole of the year. Like I would live with one girl. We would share a single bed. Then I'll just, you know, when she got tired of me, I'd go to the other girl's room. We'd share a single bed for like months at a time. And I would just live between both of their rooms. And that was what I did for the whole year because I was very, very lonely where I was based. And they were really supportive. They were like sisters to me. And in the second year, things got quite messy for me from a friendship perspective, and I ended up being very, very alone. So a lot of the people who I was close to didn't really talk to me that much. We kind of had a falling out, but I can't really pinpoint it to anything. It's like we distanced ourselves, and then it seemed that the girls all were friends and I was left out of the group. And I remember being very, very down. I used to cry so much about it because they just all like left me. And actually one of the girls like lived in the house, and then the other girls would come and pick up her and then all go out together, and I'd just be sitting there like lonely, like with a tear rolling down my eye, like lonely Pat. And so at that point in time, my sister was at university, and my sister was a party animal, and her friend would come up and party and stay with me, and so that really made my life better. And obviously I met Michael, who then became, you know, my boyfriend, and he was such a strong support at me at the time when I felt so alone. And then also my course, I didn't know anyone either, so those were also quite difficult times. But I felt like after, you know, the second year, which was my hardest, it got a lot better for me. You know, I ran the ACS, I had a social group, and I felt like more confident, and I made other friends and newer friends, which was always really, really good and a really important thing to do. So realistically, after university, I had no clue what I actually wanted to do. However, I'm the kind of person, I ask around and I get advice from people. And so the guy who I came to, who I knew from my college days, he was telling me about a guy on his course who got a job at Barclays Bank. He was on £35,000 a year, that he was interviewing at Merrill Lynch, and that I should make sure I do an application to them. And he introed me to like the recruitment team from Merrill Lynch. And so then and there, I just heard dollar signs. I was like, dollar signs, dollar, ding, 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 dollar signs. I thought, you know, university graduate who was on 41 grand a year. I was like, I'm ready for that. Yes. And so, you know, that's what I ended up doing. So I really focused on getting the grades that I needed, doing that extra work and all that stuff to get that job. But I'll talk about the job later. So for those of you who are at university, bits of advice that I have for you. Number one, your course is not going to be what you end up doing. University is a place where you learn how to become independent, where you learn to research, where you learn to educate yourself, because you can't rely on somebody to tell you. You have to start doing that research yourself. It also teaches you to be comprehensive and to be analytical and critical. And I think that those are some of the skill sets that you take into the career. So the university course you might do might not necessarily be the exact thing you're going to do as a job or relate at all, but the skill sets you pick up is really, really good. Number two, your university degree alone is not going to be good enough. You need to be looking at what else are you doing, because we're living in an age where there's loads of people with lots of different experience. What are you doing outside of your course? So I was president of the ACS. I mentored children. I was second place in the Young Enterprise Business Scheme, where we created a business to sell locally, and we won some funding to do it. So you have to do stuff that, and I also worked. So I worked a lot throughout university, and I also ran my own hair extensions company. I used to have my own clients, and I would like do people's hair, and I would sell weaves as well. I would do all kinds of things, and I'll put that on my CV. Like, I have my own hair company. I'd write that on my CV. Standardly Young Enterprise I had mentoring children on my CV. It's not just the degree alone that's going to take you there. So it's important to build your skill set outside of your course. Number three, friendships will come and go, and they will definitely change. You might meet people at university who you feel like they're your codies for life, and then you completely, like, you know, dissipate and don't see each other. Or they end up being your long-term partner, and, you know, 8 years later I'm still with my husband, who I met while I was at university. But you have to realize that the friendships coming and going are a part of the cycle, and people come into your life for a season, for a reason, and for something else. I can't remember the sentence. So they'll come into your life based on different things. So you have to try and not allow the friendships and the problems with the friendship to impact what you're doing on your course. Make sure you seek help when you need it. You know what? Iron sharpens iron, and I realized that I wish I had known, say, Adila and Jeremy, these two people that I knew in my last year. I wish I knew them in my first year, because I would have been better then, because we would ask each other questions, would have study groups, would push each other, and I was like, man, I just wish I knew these guys then, because I would have done better in my first year. And a sad, really, really, really sad story, because I didn't really speak to anyone on my course. I actually missed an exam. I came at the end of the exam rather than the beginning of the exam. For some reason, I read the exam sheet wrong, and I saw the end time and not the beginning time. Missed that exam. That was my best exam. I had to resit the exam. I got 82% in my resit exam. But guess what happens? It gets capped at 40% because it was a resit. That was in my second year, and I was so upset. Like, I couldn't believe that something as silly as that happened, but something like that wouldn't have happened if I had a network or a group of people to talk to. University might not be for everybody, and I know lots of people are trying to debate whether or not to go, whether not to go because of the cost. Don't worry about the cost. Life is very, very long. You don't pay back that much money, and if you don't make any money, you don't have to pay it back. Like, I honestly don't worry about a long-term investment in your long-term life. It's not for everyone, but don't let the costs stop. And you have to think, it's not just about the course. It's about what you learn, and it's about what you pick up, and it's about who you meet and how they impact your life. But if you don't see that as being a benefit to you, then that's something you're going to question yourself on. But I'm going to be honest with you, I do see a big difference, a huge difference between the people who do go to university and the people who don't go to university. And it's probably because they haven't had that experience, unless they've got years of work experience. So years of work experience can combat just university experience. But just thinking because you've gone to university means that you're going to make it does not mean that. You need to get some experience behind you and to support you. Finally, enjoy it while it lasts, because life is real. I know lots of you guys are in a rush to go off. You're going to be working for the next 50 years. So 3 years or 4 years studying is really just an experience that you'll get to have, and that's what I think. I don't think it's a waste of time. I know there are people who say it is. I don't think it's a waste of time. I'm very glad I went. I would definitely go again. There's times I wish I was still at university, and there's times where I think, you know what, I could go back, because learning in that way, you'll never get to learn like that again, where you can sit down and focus on just being able to learn, because life is so guns blazing. You can't just sit back and just read a book about something and write it down and take in that thought process. You don't really get that opportunity in your everyday life. So savor it, enjoy it, and party hard. I won't lie to you, I partied 2 to 3 times a week. I had the stamina of an ox. You will find me on the dance floor 3 a.m, 4 a.m, 5 a.m, but I was never one of those girls who went out without a coat. I used to see girls in Manchester with short skirts and singlets or spaghetti strap and no coat. The cloakroom is only £1. It's not worth dying of hypothermia, please. Let's not do that. Let us wear a jacket, okay? It's not every day freezing your butt off to look nice. That is my university and college experience and some of the advice that I'd like to give to some of you guys who might be going. But I really hope you enjoy that and you found it useful. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you on Sunday. I don't know what video I have. It might be already shot. I'm gonna have a look through my files. And yeah, if you're not subscribed, subscribe already. Make sure you check out my Snapchat and my Instagram, because that's where if you didn't know I was away, well, where have you been? Because I'm in Istanbul right now. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye. Today I have a lovely haul for you, and we've got some expensive bits, we've got some affordable bits, we've got watches, we've got Zara, we've got Urban Outfitters, we've got Chanel, we got everything in